Big Rigs Over the Road Racing is infamously known to be one of the worst games of all time. Something that has been mocked for years and years and years. So when I saw that it got an official Steam listing, to say that I was perplexed would be an understatement. This is a game which has gained a legacy for being considered the worst game of all time. Worse than Bubsy 3D, worse than Superman 64, worse than Sonic 06, worse than any of those games you can think of, because it was broken in so many ways. And, well, I couldn't really believe that the game had made it onto the Steam storefront. But I got it, and I think the ultimate question is this joke really worth spending money on when the internet's made a downloadable version of readily available for the past, decade or so? Well, let's get into it. Now, before I played Big Rigs Over the Road Racing, it turns out that there was a free DLC, which I downloaded at the same time, which only added layers to this. See, when you start the game, there's this program that looks like an installer wizard, but what that's doing is enabling achievements. It's really weird looking and honestly a little sketchy looking. There have been plenty of people that have speculated this as some sort of crypto miner or something. I don't think it is, and I will get into why I don't think it is in a moment. But I can totally see why people are really sketched out by it. It essentially pretends like it's installing, when in actuality, as people have pointed out, it's a loading bar, and every time it reaches the end, it just gives you another achievement. Now, some of them do make sense. There's ones like You Are Winner and BMFR or Big Motherfucking Rigs! Reference to the AVGN review from back in the day. I can't believe that review's 11 years old now. Jeez. But so many of the achievements are single characters. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. Why? Why is this a thing? I ended up getting all the achievements in my, hour of playtime. I'm pretty sure none of them are linked to anything you do in the games. I think they're all just given to you while you're playing. Now, onto the main game. The main game itself is Big Rigs. It's Big Rigs as you've known it for years. If you're not aware, Big Rigs was a racing game that got released back in the day that is infamous for how broken it is. There's no collision. The opponent's car, if it moves at all, will never finish a race because there is no condition coded into the game where you can lose. So even if it makes a full loop around, it will stop right at the finish line, waiting for you to finish. Every track only has one lap because I don't think they had the ability to code more than one lap in it. There's no collision. You'll go right through bridges, you'll go right through buildings, you'll go right through your opponents. There's an infinite speed acceleration to your reversal, meaning that you can go at obscene speeds. And there's one level in the game that straight up just does not exist. If it doesn't crash the game, it will load up another map that got patched in. This game is infamous for just how broken it is. And while it does have some amusement to it, I mean, it is fun to go absolutely ridiculous with the, reverse acceleration, and I'm sure, if it's your first time playing, there's going to be a lot of laughs. But that's not worth the money on its own. Even with the bewilderment I had with the achievements given by this extra bit, I still wouldn't call that enough. But then they give you the bonus content. In the Your Winner DLC, you get another version of Big Rigs, and as far as I'm aware, this is an all-new version, because as far as I know, there's the OG, there's the pre-release version that people found back in the day, which is somehow even more buggy, there is the OG patch, which allowed, did a few of the fixes that I think the version that we just talked about was the OG patched version, and then there's this brand new one. Now, in this brand new one, instead of your typical trucks, you now get to select from vehicles which I believe are from other games. In fact, I was told that this is actually built off of one of their other games, which is why Big Rigs now has collision. I know, that's crazy. We finally fixed Big Rigs, right? No, the collision is awful. The way it does collision is if you bump into something, you will immediately stop dead in your tracks. It's very easy to break on its own. If you start rubbing up against one of the colliding surfaces, it'll start like playing the crash sound at an insane degree, so it starts going you know, when that happens, when a sound gets played far too quickly. There are some objects which have collision, but not at certain angles, so you can drive through certain objects. The opponent's car has collision, so that you can't just run right through them, but if they run into you, the game thinks that you ran into them, so you end up jumping behind them, which is really jarring. And overall, it's not that great. Another thing they tried to do was to have it so that you couldn't just drive right up slopes, like you could in the old game, you know, trying to give it, I guess, some degree of, like, momentum, but it doesn't really work. It, again, is really jarring. You just stop dead in your tracks no matter how fast you're going. The only way to get around it is by using the reversal, which, by the way, they didn't fix that. Even on the collision, only one of the bridges works properly. The second one, you'll find yourself suddenly clipping through the bridge, and that's how I had to find out about the fact that the reverse acceleration wasn't fixed, because I had to use it to get out of the situation the game had put me in. Some of the levels will randomly crash. I had troubles with the last two levels a lot of the time crashing when I was trying to load them in. And it didn't seem to have like no real rhyme or reason. I would just try and load it and then the game would crash. They didn't fix any of the texture flickering that is available in the original game. It just seems like they added the collision, they added the slope stuff, and left it at that. It's honestly ridiculous. Overall, I find it such a strange release. Between the classic version of Big Rigs that we're all used to, this slightly updated version, which is still broken as all hell, the wizard thing that installs achievements, like, periodically, I don't understand this game. I don't understand why this game is on Steam. You can buy the soundtrack, by the way. Like, I don't know who was clamoring for the Big Rigs over-the-road racing soundtrack, but if you were, then hey, I got some good news for you. This is still without a doubt one of the worst games of all time, and now it's even more unforgivable because the game costs real money. It's not much money. You're going to be spending like $5 on it, but still, that is insane to me. Now, before I get into if you should buy it or not, we probably do need to tackle the crypto miner thing. See, because of how sketchy this game looks, how suddenly Big Rigs came out of nowhere, and there's this extra program now that looks really dodgy, people have suspected that it may be a crypto miner. One of the big things is that people have noticed that when they launched the game, they've had a performance hiccup. They've noticed that their GPU is suddenly using a lot more resources. Now, I'm going to say what I looked at when I was using Task Manager. When I launched up this new wizard, which would be the most likely culprit for this, nothing happened. The performance stayed basically the same before I'd even launched it. When I launched up the OG Big Rigs, nothing happened. I only noticed a performance jump when I launched the updated version. Now, could they have put a crypto miner in that updated version? Possibly. My thought is that when they recompiled the game, they probably just botched it heavily to the point where it needs far more resources, even though it doesn't need them. Now, maybe I'm giving too much benefit of the doubt. Maybe it really is some nefarious thing, but I'm going by that old motto. Don't attribute to malice what could just be stupidity. And I think in this case, this is just a case where these developers did not know how to optimize this version of the game now that they had to recompile it. And that's why you may notice it taking up more of your GPU than the OG one. That's my speculation though, and I want to point out I'm not an expert, so if I put out this review and a week later people find a crypto miner, remember this is just speculation. Either way, no, I would highly recommend that you give this a miss. Just find a free download of the game online, because Big Rigs Over the Road Racing has been available online for such a long time now. I don't think it's worth spending the money for this unless you are someone who is really into getting terrible old video games. Like me. I have a copy of Bubsy 3D in my PS1 collection. But seriously, for 99% of you, the amusement factor is not going to make this worth your time. I'd highly recommend just getting a download of it online and spending the, 5 to 10 minutes you'll have before you inevitably get bored with it. Now, let me know in the comment section down below what you think of this Steam re-release of Big Rigs Over the Road Racing. Have you tried it out? What do you think? Is there any reason why you haven't played it yet if you haven't? Let me know down in the comment section, and please be sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe for more.